In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to do a two-tone granny square just like so, and you can make some really great ideas when it comes to Afghan work, or even make one big whole granny square as a full Afghan where one color is one side and one color is the other. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today's tutorial we're going to work on this two-tone granny square just like so, and the color is changing halfway in the point. So we're going to work ourselves in a circle just like so, and then come back and we're going to do our color changes right in the middle. So this is untypical for a granny square. It doesn't always, not typical, but this one we have to actually turn our work every time we finish a row and go back in the direction from which we came, because we're dropping yarn as we continue. So if we're gonna go in the red here, when we get to this point we're gonna drop the red, bring up the green just like so, do the green, come back, and then just join it, and then come back with green, and then drop the green, pick up the red, and then continue with the red, and then join it. So that's kind of how what we're gonna do today. There is a free pattern available to show you how to do this as well. There is a diagram as well as a written instructions for this. So here's a copy of the diagram just like you see here. So we're gonna start off with 1, and it's gonna be chaining a 3, and we're gonna chain up 3 then once again, and then put 2 more in, chain 2, 3 more into here, and then we chain 1, and then we drop this color, bring up the next color, and then continue the rest just like this. So you're gonna basically have 2 sides right from the get-go. It's all a matter how you deal with those yarn strands right in the very beginning, and if I was to say anything is inconvenient, that is where it is on this particular project. But once you get beyond this, then it becomes easy from that point. And before we continue, what I want to point out is whenever you're going to join it to the neighbor just like so, you are going to do a chain 1, and then you're going to do a half double crochet and join here. How you join it is really important. If you go right into a whole post, then it's going to be an obvious join, but if you go into just one strand, it becomes a lot easier. So every time you go here and you're going to join it, it's just we're going to chain 1 and then half double crochet just like this. So you'll notice that it's on the opposite side. Do you see that there? That's because we're going to continue to go in rows, and every time you finish a row you come back and go in the other direction. So we just don't continually rotate in a circle, never ending like this. With this one you have to stop, turn your work, and then go back in the other direction when you finish a row. So for today's tutorial I'm going to use Bernat Super Value. Going to use size 6mm size J crochet hook today. Now it doesn't matter what color you start with, you just have to choose 2 colors and commit to it, and it doesn't matter which one you start with. So we're going to create a slip knot first and put it onto your hook. So I want you to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and I want you to join this to the beginning chain like this, and pull the yarn through and through, and therefore you'll have a center ring of your granny square. Let's begin the next part. So to begin you need to chain up 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and this counts as a double crochet in this particular pattern, and you're going to double crochet 2 more times into the center of this ring. So let's just wrap the hook and going into the center and double crochet 2 more times just like that. Okay, so now you have your chain 3 and your 2 double crochets. So these, with the chain 3 counting as a double crochet, you now have officially 3 double crochet. In this particular round and in the next round it's always going to be the same in the corners. We're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. We're not ready to bring up that next color yet. We still have to do another side. So we're just going to start again and just coming into the center of the ring, and we're going to double crochet 3 more times. So 1 and 2 and 3. Now here's where we're gonna add the next color. So in this particular round what we have to do is that we have to chain 1 and stop. So we've done chain 1. So normally in the corners you always chain 2. You're only gonna chain 1 when you're about to change a color in this particular round. Let me pull up the other color. So here's where it can get complicated. What I want you to do is grab your next color that you want to change to. Okay, this will be the opposite side of the square, and I want you to just create a loop like this. And I want you to pull it through. Just pull it through once. Okay, so remember I said that there's 2 chains on a corner. Well, this is the second chain of the 2. Here's the thing. I need you to move this yarn strand that you just dropped out of the way. See how it's attached to that? I want you to move it out of the way so you don't get it stuck anywhere, because you're gonna have to pick that up later. So I want you to grab the strand that is going to the ball, okay, and I want you to grab the strand here and just put it down on the center like this, and that one that's still in the center I want you to leave it there as well, and I want you to wrap the hook and pull through and double crochet. Once you do the first one, just pull things snug. Just pull it a little tight like this, and it will get rid of it to get rid of the look, and then you double crochet 2 more times. The biggest thing I did in the very beginning, and I actually have an outtake already of this, is that I forgot to move this string out of the way, and when you do that and bury it underneath, when you come back it won't be sitting there waiting for you next time. So I want you to turn another corner. So we're gonna chain 2, 1 and 2, going into the center ring one more time, and you're gonna do and trap these stragglers down on top just like you were, and I want you to double crochet a total of 3 times. Okay, so now you've got 2 sides of this, 2 sides of this, and you're going to do the join. So in this particular round 1 and 2, it's always gonna be the same. Actually they're all gonna be the same no matter which one it is when you do the join. So you're gonna chain 1 first, then you're going to come into the very top here. Do not go into a space like this, like where my fingers are popping through. Go right into just 1 strand. So wrap the hook going into 1 strand only. You'll regret it if you don't, and pull through, and then pull through all 3. That's a half double crochet. So whenever you do a finishing, it's always gonna be chain 1 and a half double crochet. So let's turn our work and go back in the other direction, but I want you to get rid of these stragglers first that are down in the middle, and I want you to grab your scissors and just trim those. You've buried those underneath, so you'll never have to worry about them again. And your other one, the blue, should be sitting on the opposite side right where the color starts, and that's where you're gonna pick it back up. So let's begin this round. Okay, so you're going to chain up 3, that counts as a double crochet. Coming into that same chain space, you are going to put in 2 more double crochet. So that chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Then you're going to chain 1, and then because you're the next one is the next space in the next corner, all corners will always be the same with 3 double crochets to start with, and this is round number 2. So round number 2 is slightly different from the rest of the rounds. So this one will have chaining of 2 as you turn, 1 and 2, coming into the same space for 3 more double crochets. So all the rest of the rounds from this point higher will always be 3 in the corner, but this time it's only 2 for this round 1 and 2. So now we're gonna come up and we're gonna run into this blue once again. So we're gonna chain up 1, and you're going to start your corner. So just go right over top of the blue. See, the blue's there kind of holding it there, so it's gonna bury itself underneath the stitch, so you'll barely see it if at all, and you're gonna do 3 double crochets. But now you have to stop because you need to have the blue back. So to do this one here on round number 2 and all the rest of the rounds, it's always gonna be the same. You're gonna chain up 1, and this is where you stop. So in round 2 only, you're just gonna let this green one fall out of the way, grab up the blue and finish it. That is your second chain, and then you're immediately gonna start with the blue. So you're just gonna begin to double crochet just like that. So you've left your green, so don't get your green stuck anywhere, just let it fall in behind the work just like you see, and you'll see that it might be loose. Well, you can tighten that later. Okay, see how I just did that? So chain up 1, and then going into the next corner, you can see that we're doing a full corner on round number 2. Let me retry that one. Just like that. Chain 2, only for round 2 that we're gonna do that, and then come back in and turn that corner. Just like that. So now we're coming to the very start. So when you come out to the start, the first is already started. Okay, so we're gonna finish the blue on this side of the corner. So we're gonna chain up 1, and going right over top of that green that you see, it's gonna bury underneath. So 1, 2 and 3, and do you remember how to join it already? So the join is chain 1, and then reach over and half double crochet. Just grab 1 strand only and half double crochet just like this, and that concludes off round number 2. So the remaining rounds are exactly what's gonna be shown next, and I'll show you that. So to start round number 3, and all other rounds are all gonna be the same from this point. So you're gonna turn your work and you're gonna chain up 3. So 1, 2, 3, coming into the same space, you want to double crochet 2 times. 1 and 2. Okay, so you have the total of 3 because the chain 3 counts as 1. Chain up 1, and now every time there's space in the middle in between the corners, it's always gonna be the same of just 3 double crochets into each one of the spaces. So 1, 2, 3, and then there's always going to be a chain 1 after you do that, and then move to the next space, but in this case it's another corner. So you can see that this is going to be a full corner of blue, so you're just going to do your corners as usual. So now all corners from this point forward will be 3 double crochets, chaining 3, 1, 2, 3, and coming back into the same space for another 3. Just like that. Then you're gonna chain up 1. The next one is a space that's in between, so because the corner is over here, so you're just gonna fill it in with 3 double crochets, just like that. Chain 1, and then the final here, sorry, this is gonna be changing to the green, so this is your first corner, so you're gonna turn the green, so you're gonna put your 3 in first. Okay, so this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna chain 1 first, then let the blue drop, grab up the green, wrap it and put it through the thing, pull things nice and snug, because now's the time to do it. You can't do that after. So if it's gonna be too loose for you, you're not gonna be able to adjust it if you don't. So what I like to do is just kind of pull it down so it's nice and snug, and then put the other, oh sorry, you gotta chain 1 more. Okay, so that one that I pulled through was the second chain, and the one I just did is the third. So there's your 3 in a row, and then you're just gonna double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. And here's the thing, let me show you something. So you're gonna notice that the string kind of works its way up like this. Whenever you go to do a corner, make sure that you go right into where my finger's popping through. Don't ever get it so that the green is being separated from its neighbor. Okay, so you want to make sure it's a nice clean cut. So chain up 1 and then 3 double crochets into the next space. 1, 2, and 3. Chain up 1. Okay, your corner is next, and it's a full green corner, so it's gonna be 3 double crochet. Okay, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 more back into the same corner. So 1, 2, and 3, and then work your way along the side. So it's chaining up 1. Here's your next space. It's gonna be 3 into that one. So 1, 2, and 3, like so. Then chain 1, and here's your final corner. So the blue's already there, already done the one side, so you're gonna fill in this side. So there's gonna be 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3, and the join is always the same as it has been. So chain up 1, reach over, and half double crochet. Just get 1 strand of that string only, and then half double crochet that shut like that. Do you see that? So this is how you do it. It's pretty simple. So let me just get you started. So you're gonna turn your work, then this time chain 3, so you keep your green on, and it's gonna be 3 total double crochet. That chaining of 3 counts at 1, so you only have to double crochet 2 times. See? Chain up 1, and now there's more spaces now before you get to the corner, so you just have to fill them in with 3 double crochets each. 1, 2, and 3. Then after that chain 1, come into the next space. It's gonna be 3 double crochets, chain 1. Here's your corner. Corners are always gonna be the same, of 3 double crochet. Okay, and then 3 chaining a 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochet back into the same one to do that corner. I actually did my sample with actually just doing chaining a 2 into the corners, and it worked out okay, but I would recommend you probably stick to the pattern, because I don't know in the long term if it will sit flat or not. So I just want to redo this one. So it's gonna be 3 double crochets to finish that corner off. Chain 1, and then just move along, do your edges or do your sides, just putting in 3 double crochet into each. No big deal. If you're a granny square lover, you know this is easy, and you keep working your way. And now we're running back into the next corner that's gonna have the color change. So the color changes get far and few between, because it gets bigger on both sides, so you don't have to change as often, and it makes it nice and easy. So you're gonna do the first part of the corner with the green. So 1, 2, and 3, and before you go any further, see this strand, just pull it nice and tight first, chain up 1, drop it, bring on your blue. So your blue is gonna come on. So this is chaining of 2. You're gonna pull everything nice and snug. So that was 2, and chain one more time for 3, and then start double crocheting into the same space. Get that green out of the way so that you're not crocheting over top of it, so it'll be ready for you by the time you return. And you're just gonna keep working like that as well. So I'm just gonna untangle myself. It does get tangled sometimes. Sometimes you gotta just position the balls differently and just move them around if they're getting tangled, or you can just flip up your project, and I can see here, so if I flip it up a few times this way, this will untangle the yarn. So if you're strategic about it, you can just keep doing that. So once you get your first 3 in there, then chain 1 and then just double crochet 3 more times into the next one, just like that. Okay, chain 1, keep moving along. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, corner now is 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then go into the next space for 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next space. So 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and then come into the final there, and remember that green is already partially done, so you're just gonna put in 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and then half double crochet into the turning chain, but to make sure you go into just 1 strand only to do that in order to finish it off nicely. So this is how you would do a two-toned granny square, just like so. When you're done, then you just want a darning needle and just weave in your ends into the ends, and therefore you will not see. So you want to really pay attention to that beginning of getting that yarn buried in and out of the way, so that you will never see where you stopped and started. Well, so obvious, right? So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. Have a great day. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.